Hola, soy Ana here at Butterfly Spanish, and in today's class, in your Spanish class today, my niece is going to teach you a lot. It is a very serious class, so you better stick around. Mi sobrina te va a enseñar muchas expresiones útiles en español.
So, I used to work in the tourism industry.
¿En dónde?
In Playa del Carmen. In Playa del Carmen, so it's a very touristic place, in case you don't know. And, well, I noticed, even if they didn't speak Spanish, like they would knew like one sentence. Like, quiero cerveza is something like they know. It's like an international question, like sentence. And but maybe you don't like cerveza, so you might go to another store to buy an ice cream. So we're gonna teach you how to order and what's the most common questions.
Yes. And it's also so specific, right? When my niece and I, cuando estábamos platicando de este tema, it's like, oh, it's so natural for us to order it. But there's a particular, there are particular words that you need to learn to order an ice cream. So, for example, I'm going to pretend that I am the ice cream worker, right? And so I'll say, hola, buenas tardes. ¿Ya te atendieron? Have you been tended? Like, have you been paid attention to? And you like, Dani will ask for the ice cream. So how will you order ice cream?
So usually just say like, ¿me puede dar un helado? And then they will ask, en cono o en vaso. So that means like a cone or in a cup. And
let me interrupt you here. Like, ¿me puede dar un helado? Is like, can you give me an ice cream? Can you give me an ice cream? Could you give me an ice cream? But you're not saying like, could you give me an ice cream for free? So some people find it funny and it's like, oh no, I can sell you an ice cream. And they just have like a laugh about it. Like, oh, we use that as like, you know, normally like, can I have an ice cream? ¿No? ¿Me puede dar un helado?
And usually they ask you like, ¿de qué sabor lo quieres?
Sabor, flavor. ¿De qué sabor is like what flavor? ¿De qué sabor lo quieres?
So usually the ice creams I like usually are combined flavors, and sometimes they put like different names, like not specifically the flavor on it. So it can be like, there's one that is very popular. It's called Beso de Ángel. So I remember one time I was with a friend and he ordered that. And then he explained me like, but what is Beso de Ángel? And I said like, oh, it's angel kiss. So he felt like, oh, wow, it's like a very special flavor. I actually don't remember what's the flavor in it. But sometimes like just ask, ¿de qué tiene? ¿Qué tiene el sabor? So they will explain you like the ingredients. But yeah, like there's some, we call nieves to the ones that are water based, and helado, ice cream. So just make sure like which one you want.
So nieve is like snow, nieve, and it's like water based, and ice cream, helado. And then the combinations of words. And how do you say? It's very interesting in Spanish. Well, not interesting, but like different. It's like scoop. How do we say scoop?
We say bolas de helado because the shape is a ball. So you can order like de una bola o de dos bolas, and you can choose your flavor. So you can say uno de dos bolas, and that means like combined. Like,
yeah. So it would be like, for example, like one scoop is una bola, like a circle, a ball, right? 2 scoops, dos bolas. And sometimes I will ask you, un sabor, o de qué sabor? Ah, de dos sabores, ¿no? O de dos bolas, like 2 flavors or 2 scoops, you can say. 2 flavors or 2 scoops, dos sabores o dos bolas. And you can say combinado, combined. But you can also say half and half. How do you say half and half?
Mitad y mitad. Mitad, mitad, so that means like you can choose 2 flavors.
Mitad y mitad. Like half and half. Mitad, M-I-T-A-D, mitad y mitad. It's like mitad and mitad. Half and half. Mitad y mitad. Mitad chocolate and mitad fresa. So let's talk about some common flavors, ¿no? Algunos sabores. ¿Qué se te ocurre? ¿Se te ocurren algunos sabores?
Well, there's the common flavors like chocolate, vanilla, And there's some more like exotic flavors, I would say. Maracuya is one very common flavor in Mexico, but I've noticed some people don't know what fruit it is. So maracuya, it's passion fruit, and it's a very like nice flavor. Like you should try if you go.
Yeah, it's like a citrusy. So it's passion fruit. We say maracuya, ¿no? Maracuya.
Very refreshing flavor.
Yes, very refreshing. Muy refrescante, ¿no? Es muy refrescante. Es de agua, ¿no? A base de agua. Pues el chocolate, as she was saying, chocolate, vainilla, fresa, or I like mango con chile, ¿no? There are many flavors in Mexico like con chile. Tamarindo con chile es picosito, ¿no? It's spicy. Mango con chile. And what that...
Chamoy. I don't know if that word in English has like a meaning.
I don't know. Chamoy is like some fake flavor that is super popular, and it's very citrusy, like sweet and sour, and it's a red, but like I mean, nobody really knows what's in it. Like I mean, do you know what's in it? Like
chamoy, like they do it with a fruit, but it's supposed to be like spicy, but like sweet and sour, like you said. But usually they put on top of the ice, the nieves, like the ice creams. And mango con chile would go perfectly with chamoy on top. Mm-hmm.
So it's like the chamoy sauce on top. And, chamoy is like, back when I was a child, we used to have these kind of like little bags of chamoy and just like suck on them. And it's like sweet and sour, made of, I don't know what fruit, maybe any fruit, but it's like sugar and salt and baking soda, because it's kind of like gives you some funny feeling. So that's chamoy, and that's like the sauce on top. But I mean, in every place is different, right? Like it's like different flavors. But now you know how to say una bola, no, dos bolas, o un sabor y dos sabores, no, one flavor, two flavors, one scoop, two scoops, and then how do you? Dani, could you teach the students how to say like when you like go like that?
Just lamer.
Lamer
O chupar tu helado.
Chupar tu helado. Chupas tu helado. Cuando estás así, cuando te lo dan en cono, ¿no? When they give it to you in a cone that you have to lick it, it's like chupar o lamer tu helado, ¿no? Or if it like drips, like you have to like lick your fingers. Lamer.
Lamer is like lamer. What you do. Yeah.
Yeah, lamer. Lamer. Entonces la palabra es lamer. L-A-M-E-R. Lamer. ¿Sí? O lamerte el dedo when the ice cream drips on your fingers. And you're like, ooh, like. Oh, recently we had an experience like that, and I had to run to the shop and get a cup because my cone was all like dripping all over. So I had to lick it. Yeah, exactly.
Tienes que lamerlo muy rápido.
Sí. Tienes que lamerlo muy rápido para que no se te derrita, to melt, derretir. Well, I think, I don't know if you can think of something else about the ice cream world that Dani and I enjoy, like disfrutamos mucho.
Just
La paleta. Perdón, te interrumpí.
No, it's okay.
You say the paleta? The popsicle, paleta, ¿no? Mucha gente dice paleta mexicana, but because we're Mexican, we just know we say paleta. And it's the same, many flavors.
Yeah. I don't know why it's a Mexican paleta. I think it's because of the flavors. Oh. Maybe a lot of fruits, but yeah, I just don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't understand either, but we say paleta, ¿no? Like the one that is kind of shaped like a popsicle, paleta. A veces es mejor una paleta, a veces un helado, depende cómo te sientas. Entonces, Dani, ¿quieres agregar algo? O...
Just if you don't know like a flavor, just feel free to ask like what's on the ice cream, because sometimes we combine many flavors.
And that just reminded me of something. How like, could you teach them how to say, can I try that flavor?
Puedo probar los helados, o me puedes dar de este sabor, so they can give you specifically like the flavor you want.
¿Me puedes dar de este sabor o de ese? ¿O qué es ese? ¿Lo puedo probar? Can I try it? ¿Lo puedo probar? Lo is like when you already know which one, right? Like, ¿lo puedo probar? Yes, and they give you a little bit. Then some people just kind of like say like, ¿lo puedo probar también? ¿El otro también? And then they don't order. No, it's not true. Like me. I try all of them. I don't really feel like having any of them. Bueno, muchas gracias por ver este video.
Thank you, guys. Muchas gracias por verlo.
Adiós.
Bye.